Okay. All right. Be patient. Okay, cool. I'm officially on the screen now. Except my chat's not showing up. Why is it not showing up? Okay, let's redo this. There we go. Cool. Okay. I was trying to figure out why the chat wasn't coming up. I was like, what in the world is going on? Like, it's weird. So, I use AKG headphones. Okay, so here's our Comics and Coffee. We are officially live. Gotta be a little quiet. It's like 10 o'clock. I don't want to wake the neighbors up. So, anyway. Mine is locked up. Gotta refresh. Oh, yeah. Finally got to check this out live. Yeah. So as normal with our Comics and Coffee, if you guys will notice down in the description, we have a link to Nerd Hype, which is a channel that I've chosen from theweeklypool.net to basically give people a shout out for. If you guys want to do it, go ahead and check them out. Let them know what you think. Say, hey, you know, like Rob sent me here, and they'll be like, yay, you know, and it'll be cool. So anyway, yeah, that's the basis behind that. You know, I try to stick with channels that are doing something interesting, doing something new, things that haven't necessarily been seen before. The other thing is, yes, Disney. Disney. I had a clip in my Ant-Man trailer, and that clip got blocked by Disney, which means my video got blocked. And I thought about, I mean, I'm not going to do another review. I mean, I may do reviews, but here's the problem with doing reviews. I don't just like sitting in front of a camera and being like, hey guys, so I went to see Ant-Man and it was really cool. Like, this was cool. I mean, I don't like that. The videos, I mean, I don't want to do what everybody else does. I don't want to do what everybody else has done. Like, I want to do something different, something unique, something totally separate. You know, if I end up having to do what everybody else does, to me, there's no point in doing it. But, you know, nonetheless, you know, it's a personal preference. I'll probably still do reviews, and I'll probably end up just sitting in this chair and being like, hey guys, I saw the movie, it was cool. But, you know, I mean, it's all good. Or I'll have to find a more creative way to create my reviews, which is fine because creativity is what inspires innovation. So, not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. But anyway, let's see. Hey, Rob, did you sign up for the preview program for Xbox One yet? I don't know what that is. What's the preview program? Joss Whedon's X-Men was actually pretty solid. Astonishing X-Men was not bad at all. There's his gorgeous baldish head. Where's the fro? I'm not bringing back the fro. No, I don't know what the preview program is. It sounds cool. It sounds interesting, but no, I have no idea what that is. Rob, what's your favorite movie Batmobile? Definitely from The Dark Knight, because it seems more like, I don't know, it seems more functional. It seems more like what you would see in the real world. And I like that idea. I mean, if I wanted to see, here's the kicker, what a lot of people say, you know, it's like, well, it's not like it is in the comics. I don't understand. You know, I know what's in the comics. I've seen what's in the comics because I've been reading the comics. I don't want what I've already seen. I want something new. I want a different take. And that's why I liked The Dark Knight, you know, because it was different. You know, the whole, like, Christopher Nolan real-world Batman was an element that I loved because I know the comic Batman. I've been reading the comic Batman for years. Like, I know what that Batmobile looks like. I know what that Batsuit looks like, you know. And so, so I dig it, you know. It's their beta testing program for new apps and games. Oh, okay, yeah, no, I'm not worried about that. So what are your top 5 favorite Marvel storylines? Ooh. Probably Civil War, number 1. Number 2 would be Infinity Gauntlet. Number 3 would be Age of Ultron. Number 4 would be House of M. And number 5... Probably The Dark Knight Returns from Frank Miller. That was really solid. Like, I really dug that. Although I will say this. Reading the current run of Superman, like Jeff Johns' Superman, which is basically the prelude to Superman Truth, I'm really enjoying that. Like, I'm really enjoying the whole Superman Truth thing. I think it's actually pretty amazing. I have not read a Superman story that was this compelling in a long time. That being said, Jeff Johns brought a lot to the Green Lantern series, and I still haven't read Jeff Johns' Green Lantern epic all the way through, so I probably should. Having said that, I think it'll turn out to be a pretty solid thing, a whole pretty solid thing. Let's see. I agree. It's always nice to have a new spin on things. Exactly. Avengers Disassembled is pretty good, but the problem with Avengers Disassembled is that it's a prelude, basically. It's a lead up to the House of M. It was basically Marvel's way of saying, like, here's how all this stuff is building. It was a story designed explicitly to demonstrate that the Scarlet Witch was going insane. It's like I said, it's the same thing with Jeff Johns' Superman. Like, the whole reason behind Jeff Johns' Superman was to give Superman a new ability. That's all it was. And then to use that new ability as a way to take away all of his powers. So, yeah, nonetheless, Mad Jim Jaspers explained, we'll do that at some point in time. And people are kind of trickling in, aren't they? Like, it's kind of slow. Like, I thought it'd be more people here. What's stronger, vibranium or adamantium? Probably adamantium. I mean, in the comics, adamantium is a whole lot stronger than vibranium. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, vibranium's the strongest metal they have because they can't use adamantium. So, I haven't done Mad Jim Jaspers yet. Hey Rob, can you tell us what you know about Cloak and Dagger? Actually, I don't really know a whole lot. I don't know much about Cloak and Dagger. I know of them, and I know that Cloak has the ability to teleport. Dagger, I'm not so sure about, and so I've thought about doing some research on them, but in truth, they were never really that compelling to me. I was never really. It was never like, oh my god, they're that intriguing that I feel like I need to know about them. I don't know. It's weird. All right, Thanos question. I read Thanos Annual and Infinity Revelation. No one, the weekly pool included, not commented on the fact that the hint in it, those two stories about how Thanos avoided the end of 616. What? In Infinity Revelation. On the fact that they hinted it in those two stories about how Thanos avoided the end of Earth 616. Okay, here's the deal. Infinity Revelation, as far as I understand, came out long before the destruction of the Marvel Universe. Now, I'm sure Marvel was planning it at the time, but I haven't read anything to indicate that Jim Starlin based this story on after the end of the multiverse. And so, as far as I know, Infinity Revelation is a totally isolated. It's an original graphic novel, basically. I mean, it literally centers around Adam Warlock and Thanos, and it's really a story catered to the most hardcore fans of the two. Mainstream comic fans won't understand the relationship between the two, just because it goes back so long between the whole like Infinity Gauntlet and Marvel: The End and all that kind of stuff. But no, I mean, I never read it. I mean, that never indicated to me that they survived the collapse of the Earth 616 continuity. Let's see. So Age of Apocalypse or Onslaught? Age of Apocalypse, which we need to finish. I have the script half finished. Like, I need to finish it tonight and probably try to get it recorded tonight and then get it uploaded tomorrow. So we'll see what's up. Have I been reading The Secret Wars Planet Hulk? Yes, The Secret Wars Planet Hulk is actually pretty good. It's interesting the way it's all playing out. It's going a little bit in a different direction than I thought it would. In truth, the story right now just kind of feels disheveled. It kind of feels like it's like they're making it up as they go along, which they may very well be. They may not have a plan on what they want to do with the story, but the fact remains that it's pretty good. I mean, it's interesting watching Steve Rogers travel around, seeing that apparently he's been captured by the Hulks, the Hulk tribe, and that his devil dinosaur's gone, and that the Doc Green, or I guess Doc Samson, whatever it is, version of the Incredible Hulk is gone. So. That's interesting. But let's see. Was Thanos in Odin's throne room when he obtained the Infinity Gauntlet? No, according to either Kevin Feige or Joss Whedon, I can't remember which one, they said that there's more than one Infinity Gauntlet. Because here's the thing, guys. The Infinity Gauntlet's just a glove. Like, that's all it is. I mean, it's literally just a glove that's designed to house the Infinity Gems. The Infinity Gauntlet itself houses no power whatsoever. It's when you put the gems on the gauntlet that it becomes powerful. So you could probably take the glove of Captain America and you could put the gems on it and say, it's the Infinity Gauntlet. Anything's an Infinity Gauntlet. It's just the Infinity Gauntlet's always been the same thing in Marvel Comics. That's why there's some confusion there over, what makes the Infinity Gauntlet powerful. So, Why do you think they are choosing to use a young version of Jay Garrick on the next season of The Flash? I've always known him to be older. I'm not really sure. In truth, the age of Jay Garrick isn't really relevant to me. What is relevant to me is that they're using Jay Garrick because Jay Garrick started The Flash. He's the one that made The Flash popular. So, he's the golden age character. I'm glad to see he's there. It would make sense though to use a younger age, a younger version, because basically it would mean that it'd be a reflection in the old Flash comics, the Silver Age comics, Barry Allen was older than he is now, and so when you had the story, the Flash of Two Worlds, you had Barry Allen and you had Jay Garrick, who were not necessarily the same age, but Jay Garrick was a little bit older. The problem is that if you had a full-grown Jay Garrick and you had a young Barry Allen, then it would seem as though they were trying to create a story where Jay Garrick's like, I have pearls of wisdom to pass on to you, and people just want to learn. They want to see cool stuff. They want to see fun. They want to see action. And so it makes sense they wouldn't use an old version of Jay Garrick. They would use a younger version of Jay Garrick that's more hip and that would be more interesting. But then again, he's going to be, like Barry Allen's going to be traversing the multiverse. And so there's an infinite number of Jay Garrick versions. So there may be one where Jay Garrick was super young when he became the Flash instead of being an older guy. But nonetheless, it's either way, I'm interested to see what direction it goes in. Rob, will Maestro ever be in the MCU? I doubt it. I think that Marvel said that they're not going to make any more any more Incredible Hulk movies until they secure the rights to the Incredible Hulk in his entirety. And so I think it makes sense that that we would stick with that as a character, that we would stick with the idea of just the Incredible Hulk. And people aren't really showing up now, are they? Oh. I guess the new rule is not to do comics and coffee at 10 o'clock at night, huh? Normally there's like 100 and something people in here, but there's like 40 right now. But it's all good. Like, it's a small group of us, so I don't mind it. Let's see. What age and how do you think Wally West will come into The Flash? I don't know. I'm hoping Wally West comes into The Flash as a younger person. Like, I'm hoping he comes in around the same age as Barry Allen. That way they can have a lot in common, in truth. They can really sort of get together and they can chill and they can do weird stuff. Or not weird stuff, like weird stuff, but like get into all kinds of nonsense and funny moments, I'm hoping they do that. But then again, it may be Wally West when he's full grown, so I have no idea. Jay Garrick was the result of an experiment that gave him super speed. And that was the Golden Age explanation. And then as time progressed, going into the Silver Age, they gave us a Speed Force. And they said there is this cosmic embodiment out there that gives speedsters their powers. And that's pretty much how they explained it away. Because you couldn't have every single person who developed powers somehow, just being the result of an experiment. There had to be something that tied them all together, even for the sake of just creating compelling stories. And so they gave us a Speed Force in order to offset that. Which is actually a really smart idea. Because now you could use that as a central point and say all speedsters that exist in the DC multiverse draw off this force of energy. So, you're hoping for pre-52 Wally West? We'll probably get the pre-52 Wally West. I don't know why we wouldn't. But then again, there's nothing to say they won't stick with the new. The problem is the new 52 Wally West is hated by a lot of people, not just old school DC fans, but even like new school DC fans. They don't really dig it that much. So, how do I feel about Will Smith playing Deadshot? I'm fine with it, actually. I think Will Smith will be a great Deadshot. I think he'll be one of the few characters that will be able to keep the film going. In truth, I love the idea of Suicide Squad. I think Suicide Squad is going to be a really fun, cool film. But I don't think that everybody in that movie is going to get the same kind of attention. I think that there's going to be like 3 or 4 people who are going to stand out. And of course, it's going to be Will Smith, Harley Quinn, the Joker, and probably Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. And that's it. They're going to be like the standout stars. They're the ones that are going to be drawing the big names. Will Smith is drawing the name in because he's Will Smith. Harley Quinn is drawing the fans in because she's Harley Quinn. The Joker is drawing everybody in because he's the Joker. So, and of course, the way Viola Davis is being portrayed in the trailers is going to be pretty interesting for people in terms of like looking at her. Plus, she's got the whole show, How to Get Away with Murder, and I think that's her, How to Get Away with Murder. I could be wrong, but yeah. So, let's see. How about Ghost Racers? Have you been reading that? Thoughts on it? No, I avidly avoid all things Ghost Racer. I'm not a huge fan of Ghost Racer at all. Let's see. Did anyone else think that in the Flash preview trailer, the speedster at the end was the Black Flash? I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, to be honest. What is a DC equivalent of Marvel Unlimited? They don't have one, I don't think. I don't think DC has a Marvel Unlimited, which kind of sucks. You would think they would, where they would be like, hey guys, here's like all the stuff. But if what you're wanting to do is basically push your new 52, the best way to do that is to not have Marvel Unlimited. But a better way to get over Marvel Unlimited to do better than Marvel does is to basically say, here's all of our current stories like right now, and you could just pay like $15 a month. If they charge a little bit more, because right now it's $10 a month for Marvel Unlimited, but you have to wait 6 months for the current stories. If DC came along and they said, we'll charge you $15 a month and you can get all the current stories, then that would be solid. The problem is with the initial influx offset, the possible profit loss, and I think it would, because right now comics are like $4, and so if they came along and they said it's $15 a month, I mean, that's considering all the stories that would be publicized then. I mean, it kind of varies, kind of depends. But either way, I mean, I would do it. I'd pay $15 a month to read all of DC stories right now digitally online as opposed to having to go out and buy the trades. Let's see. Spider-Man is confirmed for Civil War. Is he? Like, I don't know if he was actually going to be in it or not, which is kind of weird because you would think that they would have like a post-credit scene for Spider-Man. But I imagine right now they're still trying to get all that stuff sorted out. So I don't know. Did you catch the little Easter eggs in Ant-Man movie? Yeah, I caught a lot of them. Like, I mean, it was funny because I saw this article, I think, by the Huffington Post, and they were like, "Hey guys, here's a trailer that you most likely missed, like the huge trailer that you missed." And it was not the trailer, the Easter egg, and it was about Spider-Man. And somebody posted a comment below. They were like, "You would literally have to be deaf in order to not catch that Easter egg." And I was like, "Exactly. Like, of course everybody caught it. Who wouldn't catch it?" But it was just a clickbait article. It was just designed to draw people in, is all it was. But is X-Men 92 good? X-Men 92 is okay. It doesn't feel like X-Men the animated series. At least not to me, it doesn't. But that's because to me, I think when it comes to creating comic book versions of like cartoon shows, there's like this dichotomy. We've been live streaming for about 20 minutes. There's like this dichotomy, this invisible wall between, what I find interesting and compelling and what I think is, not interesting and compelling. And with the whole X-Men 92 thing, it's cool. It's fun to see like the old school X-Men depicted in comic book form. It just looks, it looks cartoony. It looks like it literally looks like a cartoon version of X-Men the animated series on, on a comic book form. It's just the stories aren't as interesting as they used to be. And maybe it's just because I'm older now. But, even now, like I can go back and watch X-Men the animated series and the stories are still cool. But the question is that because of nostalgia or is it because the stories are genuinely cool? So, I guess kind of leave it to you guys to decide. Is Old Man Logan really good? Yes. Old Man Logan's probably the best Wolverine story ever written. Like, it is probably the single most important Wolverine story ever written because it was the story that fans needed. I have a video on it, on why it was so important, but it is really, really good. Tower of Babel Explained. I've been wanting to, I think I really want to do that. I'm going to do a video probably based on all the forms of Kryptonite. Like, we're literally just going to go through and say, here are the forms of Kryptonite, here's when they appeared, here's what they do, and just kind of go from there. But I'd love to do Tower of Babel, because it was such a great story. It was a really cool concept. Let's see. How would you rank Ant-Man in the hierarchy of Marvel Cinematic Universe films? Oh, I'd rank it way up there. Number one, you got Iron Man. Like, Iron Man's always going to be my favorite, my top film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because it started the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I've got a huge picture of Tony Stark sitting right here, which reminds me how awesome the movie was. And, of course, The Incredible Hulk, because that one just looked cool. But, no, for me, I would say that right at the top is Iron Man. After Iron Man is Guardians of the Galaxy, then Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and then after that, probably the Avengers, and then Ant-Man, and then everything else, no particular order. So, Rob, what is your favorite DC cartoon show? It was probably Batman the Animated Series from way back in the 90s. That show was hands down the best show ever. Let's see. My boys watch all the animated Marvel shows on Disney XD, and at their insistence, I'm catching up. I figured this is how they are figuring out what other characters to make. Well, see, here's the kicker. when it comes to Marvel making characters, and this is, I mean, I don't know what their pattern is for making characters. I don't know if they literally just draw things out of a hat. I don't know if a creator's just sitting there and says, let's try this character. But, it's been a while since Marvel, like, created a new character that was compelling. I mean, they've done it off and on. I mean, they did it with the Inhumans, I guess, but in truth, when it comes to making characters, it's trial and error. Like, it's just, let's make a character and see how they're received. And if they're well received, we'll keep them going. And if not, then we won't. You can see that with the Inhumans. When Marvel launched Inhuman, it was literally them creating all different kinds of Inhumans using the fallout from the Terrigen bomb exploding at the hands of Black Bolt, and you can literally just go through the Inhuman story and watch them just create people, just create new characters, some of whom were compelling, some of whom people loved, some of whom they didn't. Some of the villains were dumb. Some of the story was kind of silly. But the really funny thing here is, as you go through those stories, while the story itself is ridiculous, while the story itself might be silly, or it might be the greatest story ever, people will latch on to characters. They will see a character and they will say, that guy's amazing, or that woman's amazing, or that thing is amazing, whatever it happens to be. And it will just become a fan favorite. I mean, that's how it was with Squirrel Girl. People ask the question, why is Squirrel Girl so popular? Well, because no one ever beats her. Like, she always wins, but it's always done off panel. She's a joke. She's kind of a prank that constantly goes on in the realm of Marvel. And people love that. People think it's one of the coolest things, and so that's why people latch onto her character so well. But let's see, who is the bald guy? Who's the bad guy, Loki or Ultron? Who's the better bad guy, Loki or Ultron? Loki, hands down. Like, Ultron's cool, but Ultron in the Marvel Cinematic Universe was like pales in comparison to how awesome Loki was. So, made it to the show for once. Welcome, Rob. When did you start the live stream? We started the live stream at 10:30. Which apparently streaming at 10:30 at night is not the best time to stream, because then like not nearly as many people show up. But that's fine. I mean, I don't care. I mean, it's these live streams aren't for me to like garner a million views. These live streams are for me to just like talk to you guys and answer your questions about comics. So even if only like 10 people show up, then I'll answer questions for until they stop asking, or until an hour ends, and then I'll bounce off. So. When do you think Adam Warlock will make his appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Probably with one of the Guardians of the Galaxy films. I would say most likely with Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I'm pretty sure James Gunn has stated that's when he's going to show up. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's when he'll pop up. I mean, he says that Peter Quill's father will show up in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I think it'll be Star-Lord. Or I'm sorry, not Star-Lord. He's his own dad. I think it'll be Adam Warlock that will show up. And so, or at least it makes sense to me anyway, that it'll be Adam Warlock. And so... I think that we'll see him then, but if we don't, we'll see him sometime between then and the Infinity War series. But then again, James Gunn also said, don't expect to see a crossover between the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy. And so chances are, like, the Avengers and Infinity War will be the only time we ever see the two groups meet. So I don't know. Either way, what I do know, because I was thinking about this earlier while I was making the coffee, imagine how funny it would be, like an interaction between Peter Quill and Iron Man. Like, it'd be hilarious. So... let's see. Do you think you will ever expand the Comics Explained brand to series from companies outside the big two? Image, Valiant? I don't know. I mean, I'd like to. The problem is that a lot of their stories just aren't interesting. I mean, I get that there are people who really, really love their stories. And I get that there are people who are hardcore about their stories. But that's a very small number of people. And... as much as I would like to get into it, the problem is, do I want to make videos for a really small niche group of people, or do I want to make videos that most of my fans are going to enjoy? So I guess I can kind of give it a shot and see how it feels, but I'm not that tired at all. No, I mean, I've got coffee and I'm going to start. Oh, crap. I thought my cup was empty and it's not. I spilled some coffee on me. Well, that sucks. Now it's empty. But no, I'll probably do a video, try give it a shot with like The Walking Dead. Like, I want to do a video explaining like what happens to the community in The Walking Dead. But yeah, I don't know. So I guess we'll see what happens. Rob, what's your opinion of Teen Titans? I love Teen Titans. Well, the cartoon show, I love Teen Titans. The comics, I wasn't that interested in. I didn't really dig them that much. The comics were kind of cool, but. I like the cartoon show better, because to me it was more like appealing. It was more interacting. It was more like engaging, as opposed to the comics where I was just kind of like, I mean, it's whatever. But let's see. Do I think Thanos will kill anyone? I think Thanos will kill a lot of people in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think you guys have no idea how many people he's going to kill. Like, I mean, not even just wiping out half the life in the universe. I think he's going to slaughter a bunch of people. I mean, they pretty much told us that in Avengers 2 Age of Ultron. You had that premonition from Tony Stark, and we saw a whole bunch of folks die. So I think that it'll be pandemonium. It'll be complete and total pandemonium. I think a lot of people are going to get killed. Having said that, I don't know how they're going to bring him back. I guess use the Infinity Gauntlet and restore him back to life, but I don't know. I guess it'd be a way to kind of wipe the slate and start over again. That's an interesting concept to ponder, but I don't know. I'll drive myself nuts with those kind of questions. Faust comes out of nowhere. Where's Faust at? Faust isn't on here. Is he? Where's Faust? I don't see Faust on here anywhere. Oh, when I said the Teen Titans were going, yeah, when I didn't like the Teen Titans, yeah, Faust would pop out of nowhere. Like, what'd you say about the Teen Titans? Like, what? Having said that, what I will say is this: I'm reading Starfire's solo series, and it's actually really funny. Like, what is Rob? What does DC Comics hate Superman? They don't hate Superman. Like, they need Superman. I was when we were doing the weekly pool in one episode, we were talking about our favorite comics from the Secret Wars and Marvel's DCU and all that kind of stuff. And Faust had stated that he really loved the new Starfire, and I was kind of sitting on that for a while. And I was like, maybe I should read the new Starfire, because I'm really enjoying what they're doing with DCU so far. But I was reading, I was thinking, let's check out the new Starfire. And it's actually really funny. It's really entertaining. And so I figured, I don't know if anybody's done this yet, but I think I should do a video on like explaining what is DCU, like what's DCU. But nonetheless, I think that the new Starfire is hilarious. Like it's funny because she takes everything so literally because she doesn't understand sarcasm. She doesn't understand why people are the way they are. She doesn't get things, and so plus her own cultural aspects in terms of the fact that she can learn languages by kissing people. Like she randomly kisses the janitor at her trailer park. It's just funny, to see those weird situations, those weird dichotomies. But then again, it's interesting. So, which villain would you like to see in the new Spider-Man film? Mysterio, definitely. Like, we had a discussion about this, and I think the last Comics and Coffee that I did, and we had talked about how of all the characters that were out there in Marvel Comics that they hadn't made villains with for Spider-Man, that Mysterio was the most compelling one. Like, we've seen Venom, we've seen the Lizard, we've seen, I guess, Rhino, which that crappy, which is, I just want to say this, that's the biggest waste of Paul Giamatti that I've ever seen. Like, you're talking about Paul Giamatti, ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest actors in Hollywood. And they squander his role in Amazing Spider-Man 2 by having him sit in a giant metal suit with a crappy Russian accent shooting at Spider-Man at the end of the movie. Like, what a waste of Paul Giamatti. That guy, it sucks to see. Paul Giamatti is an amazing actor. I love everything that he's in except for that. So, but no, we've seen Spider-Man go against a whole bunch of villains over the course of his Spider-Man film series so far. But we've never seen Mysterio. And so I've always wanted to see Mysterio. We've never seen Kraven. I've always wanted to see Kraven, especially if they gave us like Kraven's Last Hunt. Kraven's Last Hunt is the epitome of diving into insanity. Like that's a story that you read and like you come out on the other side completely changed. Like you lose a part of yourself that you just can't get back. It's very, very weird and strange. Let's see. Will Weekly Pool make a debate show like the one you, Sal, and Tiff had about One More Day? Even if it was once a month and we were given notice, so even the chat could provide informed input, it would be great. That's not. We may do it again. Right now it's just kind of something that we do for fun. So I'm not doing a Paul Giamatti Rhino impression. Like, no way. Carnage has to have Venom, though. Yeah. The worst part is they didn't even complete the fight. No, they didn't. Kraven's Last Hunt is the best Spider-Man story ever, in my opinion. It's a really good Spider-Man story. It's just so weird. Like, it's just so strange. Like eating spiders, and I don't know. I mean, it's that story is a descent into complete and total madness. That's how I look at it. It is a descent into complete insanity. Yeah, no, I don't know. Let's see. They should bring more Loon. That would be a cool story, like the Inheritors and stuff. The problem is, does Marvel have a story, or does Marvel have the rights to make movies based on just Spider-Man? Or I guess not really the rights. Does their agreement allow them to make movies based on only Peter Parker or on other versions of Spider-Man? Because if they did, they need to make something solid. Like I wouldn't mind seeing Spider-Verse, seeing like Miles Morales, because it would. Here's a really cool thing about Spider-Verse. While the story itself was boring as hell, and while the story itself was basically crap in my book, like I just didn't like it at all. If Marvel made a movie about Spider-Verse, they could literally test the waters to see who people would be receptive to. They could make the movie, they could release it, and then people would basically say like, "Oh, this is my version of like Spider-Man. This is my favorite version of this," and they could say, "Well, Miles Morales was better," or like Gwen Stacy, Spider-Girl. I could guarantee you, like Gwen Stacy Spider-Woman would take off, and people would love her. But people would be able to say like, these are the characters I love the most, and Marvel will be able to look at the most popular trending characters from the Spider-Verse film, and then make movies based on that. Or Sony could do it. But it'd be a great way to test the waters and to see if they could see how people would be receptive to other Spider characters besides Peter Parker. So I mean, it's better than simply just saying like, hey, let's make a character about Jessica Drew, or make a movie about Jessica Drew and see how that goes. Like that'd be kind of crazy. Is that an Aspire Mini? Where's your Atlantis, bro? This is the Aspire Atlantis version 2. My Mini is right here. Two totally separate things. The Mini's not bad, though. The Mini, I think, chucks better flavor than the Atlantis, but nonetheless, like it depends. Yeah, it's all good. Rob, so are the Inhumans bound to get a movie? We know they're getting a movie. Like, their movie was announced to take place between Infinity War Part 1 and Infinity War Part 2. Hey, Rob, can you do a video on the original Secret Wars in the 1980s? I'm actually making a video about that, making a script about that. Kingdom Come Explained. I don't know. I mean, I like Kingdom Come, but I don't know. God, it's such a huge story. Like, it's so massive. Are you really doing this at night? Yep. Yes, I am. I told you guys we were going to do comics and coffee. I was really tired earlier today. Didn't have the energy to do it earlier this afternoon, so I figured, I'm going to go ahead and do it at night. So, and I'm doing it at night. So, let's see. Kraven has always been a better villain for Spider-Man. He's more interesting. I don't know if he's a better villain, but he's more interesting. Let's see. What do you want to see most in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I want to see Adam Warlock. And I want to see Adam Warlock portrayed as like a messiah, I guess a messianic character, the way he was done in the comics. That being said, the way that we see the Vision in Age of Ultron is more like Adam Warlock. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Favorite vapor flavors? Definitely, well, I took the cover off this one, but definitely Hobbs Blood by the Vapor Chef. Definitely Beeblebrox, which is a tobacco flavor, and pretty much any vanilla custard flavor. Which, by the way, hopefully Grant's Vanilla Custard is going to be selling soon, so we'll see what happens. Let's see. Rob, what is your opinion of the Fantastic Four? I think the Fantastic Four, I'm not a brony, and that's weird. My opinion of the Fantastic Four, I think the Fantastic Four were really relevant back in the day, back in the 1960s, when they were basically bringing in, like, all these different people into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or into the Marvel Comics. But right now, they're kind of like, meh, not really relevant anymore. I mean, that's the reason why they're going away. I mean, it's the time of the Fantastic Four in building up characters and teams into popularity is long since gone. And the ability for Marvel to create compelling stories with the Fantastic Four is long since gone. The last good story from the Fantastic Four really came out of Jonathan Hickman's Future Foundation, and that was a few years ago. So, I mean, before that, it was maybe Mark Waid's run. Before that, it was John Byrne's run. I mean, you've got like these huge, like 10-year gaps between good Fantastic Four stories. I mean, it's that's the problem with the Fantastic Four is yes, they are the original Marvel superhero family. They are the original superhero team. And yes, back in the day, they made a lot of people popular. But right now, okay, here's my question. Aside from Future Foundation, what's the last good Fantastic Four story arc? What's the last good story arc? I mean, that's my question. I'm going to listen to when I say that, and I'm going to see if you guys can. I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds. Let's see. Do you take free music for your channel? Always. Definitely. Robert Uncle Booby Jefferson. Okay. And see, that's the funny thing, is, see, somebody said Secret Wars. I don't know if it's good, but I like the Ultimate. No, not Ultimate. Like Earth 616, Fantastic Four. I see Original Sin. That's not really a Fantastic Four crossover. The Coming of Galactus versus Fantastic Four. No one has an answer. Like that's the thing is people are like, well, I mean, that's one of the big problems that I think a lot of people have with Marvel Comics or with something like do I suck or do I blow? I don't do either, but I do ban. So there you go. Anyway, no, I think that people are just like, oh my God, Fantastic Four! Like the Fantastic Four are amazing. Well, why? I mean, well, because they're the original superhero team. That's the issue I think that people have is they know of the Fantastic Four, and if you're not consistently reading Fantastic Four stories or Marvel Comics in general, anybody that's been reading Marvel Comics for the last 20 years will tell you the Fantastic Four have not been relevant for a long time. They're in stories and they do some stuff, but they're completely unimportant. They're completely not relevant. They're completely just, they're just there. They're there for posterity's sake. They're the reminder that at one point in time they had relevance, but now it's just like, it's whatever. But I think that at the end of the day, them going away, the fact that Marvel's kind of cutting them loose, and the fact that there really aren't that many people who are up in arms really speaks for itself. It really speaks volumes. So this monster. Let's see. Rob, they have a Rockman. Yes, they do. Ultimate Fantastic Four. Are you going to be doing a script on Batman being a god? What are you talking about? Batman being a god. You seen the 2006, 2008 Fantastic Four show? No, and I don't want to. Would you like to see Doctor Doom in the MCU? Yes, I would love to see Doctor Doom. See, Doctor Doom is a saving grace of the Fantastic Four. Like the books of Doom written by Ed Brubaker were so good. They were amazing. And it was fun watching them. It was fun reading them because it gave you the whole story of Doctor Doom. And then at the end, you realize it's not actually Doctor Doom. It's a life model decoy of Doctor Doom, or it's, I guess, one of the Doom bots for Doctor Doom. And so that was a cool concept. But, the fact remains that, is Beta Ray Bill going to be in Thor 3? I don't know. The fact remains that Doctor Doom is really what kept the Fantastic Four relevant. The Fantastic Four were relevant because Doctor Doom was popular, and Doctor Doom and the Fantastic Four go hand in hand. I mean, their rivalry goes back to the beginning of the Fantastic Four, and so that's what kept them relevant. If Doctor Doom had been killed off in Marvel Comics, for example, the Fantastic Four would cease to be important. Nobody would really think about them. I mean, you could look at their stories. You could go through and go through their entire, like all the sales basically of their volumes and see that they were just decreasing, going down and down and down and down over time. So, Superman flies into the sun for 25 million years and becomes God of sorts. Oh, you're talking about Superman the End. Like, okay, I thought you said Batman the God. You're talking about Superman, like Superman 1 million. So I understand what you're talking about. Let's see. Batman is now in control of the Mobius chair on the latest issue of Darkseid War. See, I haven't read Darkseid War yet. I need to get into it. People are saying that like it's pretty solid. Okay, I'll have to check that out then. So, who do you think would win if Deadpool went against Superman and Goku versus Superman? Ooh. Deadpool would definitely go against. Look, some guys in that Gaylord Chaotic guy. Like, everybody noticed that guy. Everybody noticed that guy. Like, everybody say, "Hey, Gaylord Chaotic." Like, what's up? And then the whole. Okay, here's a reason. That's what I'm gonna start doing from now on. Like, anytime anybody gets into the comments and starts trolling, I think I'm gonna direct everybody's attention to them. And here's the reason why. People get on the internet and they troll because for whatever reason their life sucks. I mean, maybe their girlfriend is banging another guy. Maybe they're in a marriage and they hate their wife and kids. Maybe they're sitting in a cubicle wasting 8 hours out of their day, but for whatever reason they hate their lives. And the only way for them to find any relevance in their lives, the only way for their life to matter is to try to make other people's lives miserable. And I don't know. I mean, let's talk about this for a second. I mean, when you get past that and you look at the nature of people who are trolls, like it sucks, it sucks for them as people, because you're talking about individuals whose lives like don't matter. I mean, whose lives like don't have any value, and that's a problem, because people will hear me say that, and they will say like, "Oh my God, like Rob, you're such a jerk," or they'll scoff it off. They'll be like, "Oh, whatever, my life's important, my life has meaning." But here's the kicker: at the end of the day, when that Gaylord chaotic guy, when he goes to bed, when he lays down at night, he may very well forget about me. He may very well come in here and troll whatever, and then, when he's done, he'll go to sleep. But at that moment, right between the time that he closes his eyes and falls asleep, he's going to think back to exactly what I'm saying now, and he's going to know that I'm 100% right when I say that guy does not serve a purpose in life. So, anyway, God, now I got to start banning people. Yeah, I mean, trolls are funny to me, because I mean, all that I think about, like, whenever I see people getting on my channel and I'm trolling, is that they're mad because they're not me. So Rob, the Fantastic Four basically don't have that many amazing adversaries. Maybe they should introduce a new villain. Well, that's the problem, I mean, the Fantastic Four are these characters, they're these people that had relevance, but with Doctor Doom as their only real significant adversary, it's not important, it's not relevant to them. I mean, it's a guy who shows up that's more important than the superheroes that he's fighting against. It's more interesting than the superheroes he's fighting against. And so, I don't know. Either way, but people are like, man, that's heavy. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, man. I mean, it's like, I know I'm right. I know I'm right. Like, that's the sad thing is people get in and people troll and they cause problems, and it's because for whatever reason, like, their life sucks, and they won't admit it to themselves. They won't be like, yes, my life sucks. They're just like, no, I'm just having fun. I'm not trolling. Like that guy is like, I'm not trolling. Like, that guy's 100% trolling, and he's trolling because his life is empty and his life is void, and he may have a wife, or he may have if it's a woman, she may have a husband, but whatever the reason is, their life is crap. And I know that because people who enjoy their lives are out enjoying their lives. They're out having fun. Like, they're making videos on YouTube for people. They're doing live, Q&A sessions. They're going shopping at the mall. They're having sex. I mean, they're enjoying their lives. They're not getting on the internet and giving other people crap. And so that's how I know that guy's life sucks. So, Arnold Gomez, I can see you fine. But I think the Deadpool movie will be good? I think the Deadpool movie is going to be amazing. In truth, I think the Deadpool movie is going to be the best movie of next year. Like, I think it's going to be the best movie of 2016 because, it's rated R, which means we're going to see an insane amount of violence, an insane amount of cussing, But two, it's going to be Deadpool. And so, I think that with the whole, my favorite New 52 title is definitely Superman's current run. I think with the whole, Deadpool thing, we're going to see the definitive Deadpool in movie form with this. Plus, like, Ryan Reynolds is a huge Deadpool fan. We basically have a Deadpool fan making the quintessential Deadpool movie. It's like Kevin Feige taking over the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, I think it's awesome. I think it's going to be the best movie of the year. So, what are your thoughts on the Ghostbusters reboot? I am so excited. The cast looks hilarious. Like, I'm really hoping that, like, we get a couple cameos from some of the old school guys. I mean, we won't see Harold Ramis because he passed away, which sucks. I think Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd are the only ones left. We might see not Harold Ramis. We might see Rick Moranis. But I think aside from that, it'll be interesting. It'll be the most entertaining, but Cat 3 will be better. I don't know. See, what I will say is this: even if they're not going to be even if they're not going to be, it's apples and oranges. Deadpool might be better than Captain America 3. Captain America 3 might be better than Deadpool. But what I do know is this: next year is going to be full of comic book movies, and it's going to be amazing. So, regardless of who you like more, there's going to be so much content out there, and there's going to be so much stuff to see. Plus, we have the Netflix series coming out, so I'm going to be really excited for it. Rob, would you like an ET too? No. In fact, I heard that that there was talks to make Steven Spielberg come back to produce a second ET movie, but he didn't want to. And so what he did is he wrote a script that was so crappy that they dropped the idea, and they said, we're never going to make this movie. I think when something like ET comes back and starts killing people, I can't remember, but it was designed to be written so bad that the movie studios were like, we're never going to make this. Like, it was basically sabotaging it. So, no, dude, seriously, I can't watch the poll on Twitch sometimes, so I watch it on your channel, which is awesome. But will you keep posting it? Yeah, we'll keep posting it. The problem is there's so much going up right now. So yeah, we'll get it online. Oh crap! In fact, I think I might have actually deleted it. Now that I think about it, I may have to try to find a way to re-download it. But nonetheless, I mean, if you guys want, I mean, you guys should be able. You guys can go back. You don't necessarily have to be there exactly when it's being broadcasted. For whatever reason you're working, or if you're sleeping, or something like that, you can go back and watch it online. Like, you can go back and watch it as an archive broadcast at any point. So, can you explain vaping? How should you start getting into it? Buy something called an Ego Twist, and then buy something called a Pro Tank Mini. From there, get the juice that you love, and you're set. That's really all you need. Rob, so cool. I appreciate it. Do you think Hulk will kill Thanos in Infinity War? No, I think Hulk's going to get his ass kicked in Infinity War. I think, see, that's the question. Who's going to beat Thanos? Like, that's my question. Rob, what is your opinion of Goku versus Superman? We'll get into that here in a second. Which, by the way, I want to do a video answering Screw Attack, but I don't know, because it would have to be equally as complicated and maybe weird. But see, in the Infinity Gauntlet event, Nebula stripped Thanos of his Infinity Gauntlet and kind of went crazy at the same time. But they set the stage for Nebula doing that, because if you remember in Guardians of the Galaxy, they made it clear that Nebula was his favorite daughter, and she recognized that going into it, and she was kind of pissed about it. And Thanos was, basically didn't really seem to care about her that much. That right there would set the stage for the idea of, her taking the Infinity Gauntlet at the end of the series. Whether that'll actually happen or not is a totally different argument. But, nonetheless, I think it'll be pretty solid. Let's see. Do you believe the character of the Hulk is more of a sidekick? No, not at all. Hulk's his own story. I mean, he's his own main superhero. That being said, they've written some pretty cool stories about the Hulk. I guess you could consider like Rick Jones to be a sidekick, but not necessarily. I mean, he's A-bomb now is what he calls himself. Is stupid. Well, he's dead now, so I guess it doesn't matter. But no, I'm not in California. But no, I mean, Hulk's not a sidekick for anybody. It's Hulk's nobody's bitch. Let's see. Do you wish the MCU was more serious, or are you okay with how it is now? I think I'm fine with how it is now, because it's a great combination of serious movies and comedic movies. I mean, Ant-Man was a great comedy, and it was a great comedy because it's offsetting, like, its comedy is going to offset what's about to happen in Captain America Civil War. So that's a great, I think that what they're doing is fine. I mean, they're balancing, funny movies with dark movies, and that I think is something that needed to happen. That I think is something that needed to take place. So, let's see. Do you think Hugh Jackman's Wolverine will be killed in a film? Yes, I think they're going to kill him with Old Man Logan. I think they're going to get rid of him with Old Man Logan. I think they're going to end the Hugh Jackman Wolverine run, and we're not going to see him coming back as Wolverine anymore. That being said, Wolverine's not going to die entirely. I think they're going to bring somebody else back, and they're going to say, oh, it's kind of like a separate Wolverine. I don't know, but nonetheless, we'll see what happens. Let's see. What's Old Man Logan? Old Man Logan was a story that centered around Wolverine in a different reality, where he had killed the entire roster of the X-Men under the illusion of Mysterio, and the result was that at the same time there was a campaign by the villains of the Marvel Universe to band together and kill all the superheroes at the same time. And so the result was that it created this dystopian future where all the superheroes were dead except for Wolverine. The Incredible Hulk was insane. He banged She-Hulk. They had kids, which was weird. And then those kids had kids, and so on and so forth. But Let's see. You don't like Apocalypse's makeup? Okay, let's talk about this, guys. Let's talk about. Yeah, I think the Megalodon shark exists. Let's talk about the whole Apocalypse thing, because we're going to be winding this down here in the next 10 minutes or so. So let's talk about, Apocalypse. Yes, Apocalypse looks like poop. Like, he looks like poo. It looks pitiful. Not even the sense that he's purple. He's really not purple, because people are saying, oh, well, it's the light, they're cast in purple, whatever. Yeah, I agree. I doubt that Storm's going to be the color purple in the X-Men Apocalypse film. Having said that, Apocalypse is supposed to be menacing. He's supposed to be imposing. Like, not necessarily, physically scary looking, but he's supposed to be imposing. He's supposed to be a person that is like, overbearing. He's supposed to look at the eye. You're supposed to look at the character of Apocalypse and be like, oh my god, like this dude means business. And I think that we may see that. We may see that overbearing version of Apocalypse. But for right now, like, he looks the same as everybody else. He looks the same size as everybody else. Now, again, that doesn't mean that we're not going to see that version of Apocalypse. We may see that in the final battle, Apocalypse grows to like 300 feet tall, and just starts smashing on people. I mean, we have no idea. He may very well, change his shape and give himself the power of flight, grow wings, or turn his arms into crazy things, and so and all that kind of stuff. But at the moment, the reason why people are getting so freaked out, for those of you guys who aren't avid comic book readers, for those of you guys who don't consistently read Marvel Comics, the reason why so many people are getting freaked out over the idea that Apocalypse doesn't look the same is because so many people love the character Apocalypse. He was everybody's favorite villain in X-Men the Animated Series. We knew that if Apocalypse showed up, the story was going to be cool. Apocalypse's, the blue along the lines of his head, that surrounded his lips and went up into his design. That's signature. Like, that is signature Apocalypse. He's always had that look. Even when he was killed and resurrected in the form of a kid, he had that facial appearance. It's a trademark of his character. It ties into the history of Apocalypse in the sense that he was always shunned by people because of his physical appearance. It's an ingrained part of his character. It defines him. It's what makes him who he is. To see that kind of stripped away is really worrisome to a lot of people. Not only that, people, one, it's a Fox X-Men film. And so people are already a little bit leery because Fox has a really bad habit of screwing up X-Men characters and teams. And so people look at this as just another example of Fox doesn't know what they're doing. Like, Fox watched X-Men the Animated Series and they decided to make a movie based on Apocalypse, or something like that. Or somebody at Fox, read like a single Apocalypse comic and said, I know everything about the character, let's go with it. And they're making a film accordingly. That's the perception people have of Fox, that they are that they are a coffee maker making, I don't know, making wine, that they have no business doing what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. In the end, I think it'll come out to be pretty solid. I would just like to think that the version of Apocalypse that we see in these previews is not really the way he's going to look. That, he'll be a far more imposing character in the movie itself. Right now, it's too early to judge. That's why I'm not really taking the stance of saying, like, the movie's going to be garbage. I'm simply just saying Apocalypse looks like crap. Like, he looks goofy looking. Like, he looks like Ivan Ooze. And I think that, once the movie comes out, then we can pass judgment. But the ones who are out there, doom and gloom, oh my God, the movie's going to blow, the movie's going to suck, it's going to be awful, so on. Those people like that always say that. Like, anytime there's any variance, like they want to see a movie that's a reflection of their favorite part of the comic, and if it doesn't have that, then the movie sucks, which is a silly notion. But nonetheless, I am as far beyond. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear that at some point in the film. I want to hear Apocalypse, say like I am as far beyond mutants as they are beyond you, or I am as far beyond mutants as you could ever dream, or something like that. That I think would be really cool. But let's see, Doctor Doom versus the Beyonders. See, we don't know. I mean, we know that he killed the Beyonders. We just don't know how. Well, at least we know Molecule Man, Doctor Strange, and Doctor Doom killed the Beyonders. We just don't know how they did that. It's crazy. So, yeah, Comics and Coffee moves pretty fast, but that's fine. I'll catch you later, man. Let's see, Wolverine versus the Punisher Netflix miniseries. I would watch that. I would so watch that. It would be amazing. Let's see. Oscar Isaac is above this version of Apocalypse. Oscar Isaac is above a lot of things. Like, I'm surprised he even agreed to do this. I don't know. I thought that Oscar Isaac was going to be like, I'm not doing Apocalypse. I mean, Oscar Isaac is an amazing actor, you know, especially after Ex Machina. You know, he's solid with that film, and so I mean, it'll be cool because it'll give him a chance to kind of, you know, blow up and do his own thing. But you know, the fact remains that it's weird, you know, seeing that. Let's see. It said, "Hold a moment," and never answered. Let's see, Rob, can you please do me a simple favor? This is going to be a ridiculous favor. What about the upcoming Thanos Deadpool comic? What do you think? Who do you think will win Death's Hand? Deadpool, probably. Will Thor ever wake up? I don't know that he's asleep, unless you're talking about waking up and realizing that he's in this battle world, which he is, because he's been telling people that. Let's see. He will be great in Star Wars. I don't know who you're talking about. Will you do God Loves Man Kills Rob? Probably not. I mean, that story is that's a super old story. It's good, but that's an old school story. Ant-Man sucks. Who agrees? No one. No one agrees with you. Let's see. Man Thing, Ghost Rider, Blade, Werewolf, by Night, Team Up Netflix series. Why in God's name would you want to make a team up series based on those characters? Werewolf by Night? I mean, come on, man. Rob, are you ready for the Power Rangers reboot in 2016? Yes. I've heard they wanted to do it. I didn't know it was confirmed, but I am definitely down to see a Power Rangers reboot. Anyway, guys, we're going to bounce off here. I need to work on a script for the Krypton thing, for the Age of Apocalypse, for the case in support of Iron Man for Civil War, and the case in support of Captain America for Civil War. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and bounce off here, guys. Thanks for coming out for this live Q&A session, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.